Hey there guys, it's Anthony here at Cutting Edge Guitar, and in today's video I'm starting a new series of videos for you all about cutting edge guitar players. In this video I'm going to be talking to you about Australian fusion shred maestro Frank Gambale and what makes him a cutting edge guitar player. Let's get right into it. Okay guys, first things first, I just want to say if you're enjoying the videos, please do give them a like. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn the notification bell on to make sure you don't miss any of my lessons and any more videos like this that I do as and when they come out. So, Cutting Edge Guitar, well obviously Cutting Edge Guitar is the name of my channel, my company, my tuition business and all the rest of it. Where does it come from though? That's quite an interesting point here, I think, in that what I'm trying to achieve or trying to show my students is a different way to play the guitar. We're not looking for average guitar playing. We're looking to try and be cutting edge, top-notch guitar players, okay? And that's because a big part of what's always interested me as a guitar player once I got over that beginner sort of stage was the people who were really, really good at it. And one particular guy who is unbelievable at playing the guitar is Frank Gambale. For anyone who doesn't know, this is his FG logo. This is a Frank Gambale t-shirt. So another thing, once upon a time, Frank used to play an Ibanez S series. I've been a big fan of the Ibanez brand for a long time, but he's somebody who inspired me to want to pick up and play one of these. So what is Frank all about? Well, what makes him a cutting edge guitar player? I suppose there's a number of different things that we need to talk about here. First things first, you can't get away from the fact that Frank is well known for his technical ability. And if you didn't know this already, Frank is actually the innovator behind the sweep picking technique, this stuff. Now, before we start getting a whole host of comments where people are going, oh no, Frank isn't the first person that ever did sweep picking, Les Paul did sweep picking way back in whatever. So, the caveat here is that Frank is the first person that took sweep picking to where it kind of is today. Now, what Frank tends to do with the technique, he does use like big arpeggio sweeps like this. This is a triad sweep in E major. And he connects them along the fretboard with this sort of stuff. So what I've just done there is I've gone up a position 4 E major arpeggio. And then I'm going to go down to position 1. There's lots and lots of different ways that you could do this sort of stuff though. I mean, you could take three string sweeps, and then go into larger ones and all that sort of stuff. But that's triads, okay? You can use sweep picking with things like arpeggios as well. So I'm talking about 7th arpeggios here. So let's say, for example, one of the things that Frank always did, which makes a real difference with arpeggios, is if you look at something like the caged system, most guitar books and all that sort of stuff out there will teach you to play an E major 7 arpeggio like this. And as you can see, as I'm doing that there, I'm alternate picking it as well. So Frank would always sort of find that that is a very, very difficult way to use the technique. So what he wanted was a way that would allow him to use his sweep picking. And effectively the thing with sweep picking is that your plectrum moves in the same direction as your string changes as you're going up and down. So when you look at something like this original arpeggio shape that I've got here, to actually play it with sweep, I'd go down, down, up, down, up, down, 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 up. Which actually is not the most efficient way to do it. So what Frank looked at was if you can take the 5th and put it over here, what you're now going to get is a shape that would allow you to do this. And that makes it a lot easier to play with the sweep picking technique. So when you're looking at these things, what I've got by doing this, I'm going down, 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 Then I've got a tiny bit of alternate here, up, down, and then down, 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 up to complete my arpeggio. And obviously that works on the way back down as well. So that's one thing that shows that Frank was a real innovator, is he would look at the way that things are being done by the masses and go, I don't think that seems logical. And he's done that for all sorts of things, not just arpeggios. So scales is another one. So with playing scales, generally speaking, most guitar books that came along before players like Frank would show scales. Like if I play my E major scale, if I play it from this E over here, the E major scale would be shown in most books as this sort of thing. So what Frank wanted to do was to try and get it so that every single string had 3 notes on it. Because if you do that, what you can do with the sweep technique, or applying it to scales, is another phrase you could use for this would be to call it economy picking. Would be if you go down, up, down, you can now do that on every string. Down, up, down, 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 down, up, down. So now you can use the same picking uniform on every string. So that's the way, or one of the ways, that Frank looks at using scales and all that sort of stuff. But Frank's not just an innovator and a cutting-edge guitar player in terms of technique. He's also an incredibly cutting-edge player when it comes to his harmonic sense on the instrument. So what that means is he doesn't play basic guitar harmony that we would all be used to. So for example, on a straight minor 7 chord, so if I was just to play an A minor 7, most guitar players from back in the day would play a minor pentatonic over that. But what Frank does, Frank has kind of used inspiration from saxophone players, horn players, line players, from all sorts of other instruments, and he analysed the whole spectrum of music so that you can look at, things like modes. Like Frank is an absolute master at using modes, but also not only just using the modes and modes of major scale and modes of melodic minor scale and harmonic minor scale and diminished scales, all of that stuff is in his playing all over the place. But on top of that, he would look at stuff like, on that straight minor 7 chord, he would be looking to use something like the Dorian mode or the Aeolian mode, and then from within those parent scales, he would look at all of the other devices that are in there that you can extract. Now, that was a big inspiration on me. So, for example, if we go back to our A minor 7 chord, and then also looking at the technique that I was talking about earlier with that E major 7 arpeggio, over that kind of chord, Frank would be using something like a C major 7 arpeggio, looking like this. Now, if we look at the notes of that C major 7 relative to A minor, we've got our minor third, so like A is our root, that's what we're playing over. But the C major 7 arpeggio gives us a minor third, gives us a perfect fifth, gives us our flat 7, and now gives us a ninth. Because the B is a ninth relative to A. So, if I play now through that C major 7 arpeggio, but relative to our A that I'm actually playing over, that actually gives me the sound of an A minor 9 extended arpeggio. Now, Frank uses absolutely shed loads of those kind of jazzy superimpositions. So if you couple that with a monster guitar technique level and a monster knowledge of theory and of jazz lines and all of that sort of stuff, you couple all of that together, and you genuinely end up at one of the most virtuosic of virtuoso guitar players that you can imagine. Now, what I really like about Frank as well is that he's got all of this jazz harmony stuff down, but he's got this really, really brilliant rock guitar sound. And if you take albums like Passages, for example, his album Passages, on that album you've got stuff that sounds like complete hard rock to total sort of smooth jazz, an infusion, and everything in between. And I think a guitar player that has that level of technical capability, that level of musical sophistication and versatility is just a complete, what we would call a cutting edge guitar player. He is just a guitarist of the highest order. So there we go, guys. That is my outlook and my take on what makes Frank a cutting edge guitar player. What I'm going to do at this point in my cutting edge guitar platform, I'm going to carry on this video, I'm going to carry on the conversation for my members, and I'm going to talk about what happened literally last night when I saw Frank play at Ronnie Scott's in London. So if you want to see all of that and you want to hear more of me talking about Frank, do check out the links below where you can come and become a member of Cutting Edge Guitar. When you become a member of Cutting Edge Guitar, you'll get access to all of my advanced tuition products that will show you all of the harmonic sophistication and the technique of all of the players I'm going to talk about in this series. Also, if you want to check out my books, I have a series of books that are published on Amazon that you can get in print, and these are all available for digital download as well at the Cutting Edge Guitar site. So anything that you might be interested in from me is all in the links below. Okay guys, that's it for this video. Do make sure that you like the video, subscribe to the channel and turn the notification bell on. I'll see you at the members area of Cutting Edge Guitar. See you in the next video. Cheers.